I remember one day Hattie Boyder walked in and I was like, what is going on? I want to be a part of that. I remember just thinking it was so out of reach. And then there was a spanner thrown in the works. My partner at the time got into a really severe accident. It was a big car crash. It was him and two of our friends. One of our friends did pass away. The other two were in comas, broken spines. Watching life just slip through the fingers of these people that I really cared about was so heartbreaking to watch, but it also lit a fire in me that I wasn't going to let life slip through my fingers. I decided that I wasn't going to be scared of failure. I wasn't going to hold back. I was just going to live the life that I dreamt of. So I just went, screw it, I'm just going to do it. Started a build and then I prepped for my first show.
Welcome back to the Comp Closet podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Sarah Moore, and today we are chatting to the beautiful FMG Bikini competitor, Mia Kukura. Mia, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
No worries. I'm really excited too. So you're currently on prep for the FMG October show. How's that going so far?
Yeah, good. I'm only 3 and a little bit weeks in, so we're about 16 and a half weeks out from show, and I mean, I can't complain. Yes, it's hard, but I just love prep. I thrive on prep, so I'm winning. I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah, amazing. So how many weeks out are we now?
16 and a half, I think.
Yeah. Very exciting. That'll absolutely fly by, and I can't wait to keep watching your progress. What initially inspired you to start competing?
Oh, it's a good question. It's a little bit of a long story, so bear with me. So I think I got into the gym in about year 10, which was 2019. And then COVID hit. So my senior school in year 11 and 12 was all pretty much online. After we graduated, I decided that I really wanted to take my training to the next level. So I thought I'd join the big girl gym. So I signed up at World Gym. And it really just opened my eyes to like a whole new world of the industry. Everyone was so dedicated to their goals and it just inspired me so much. I remember one day Hattie Boyder walked in and I was like, what is going on? I want to be a part of that. So I remember just thinking it was so out of reach. It was like, even if I shredded, I wasn't going to look like that. I didn't have the muscles. I didn't really know what I was doing in the gym anyway. So yeah, I was working at World Gym and then life kind of there was a spanner thrown in the works. So my partner at the time got into a really severe accident. So it was a big car crash. It was him and two of our friends. Unfortunately, one of our friends did pass away and the other two were left in comas, broken spines, the whole lot. So I think watching that all unfold, I was obviously very lucky not to have been in that car, but watching life just slip through the fingers of these people that I really cared about just was so heartbreaking to watch, but it also lit a fire in me that I wasn't going to let life slip through my fingers. So after I kind of recovered from all of that, I decided that I wasn't going to be scared of failure. I wasn't going to hold back. I was just going to live the life that I dreamt of. So I just went, screw it, I'm just going to do it. Started a build and then I prepped for my first show.
Wow, that is such an incredible story and an incredible mindset that you have as well to, I guess, pull a positive out of that really difficult situation and turn that into something really positive in your life. What were the first steps that you took when you decided you wanted to compete? Like you mentioned, you went into a build. Did you get a comp prep coach?
I did. So I was originally, when I decided I wanted to compete, I was actually tossing up between IFBB and WBFF at the time. I decided that WBFF was just so me. It was just like being able to be feminine on stage and really have more choice in your bikini, your posing. It was just so me. So I had a look at some of the coaches that are in the industry. I tossed up between a few for a little while and then I started coaching with Jason Tenkate, who is at Elite Health Club. So yeah, I've been with Jason since. I now work at Elite Health Club with Jason, and I couldn't ask for a better coach. I am obsessed with the whole process.
Yeah, amazing. That's so important to find a coach that you can really gel with and work with like that. So how long was your build phase, and then like what happened after that? You obviously went into prep for your first show.
Yes. So I started with Jason in November of 2021. So from there, we just jumped straight into a build phase, and then prep started in, I think it was the beginning of July for the November show. So yeah.
Amazing. And your glutes are absolutely insane. I see you putting in the work. Can you break down for the listeners like what you've done specifically to grow your glutes?
Okay, so I think that I have a little bit of glute dysmorphia because I think I'm just a perfectionist. Like, I look at photos and I'll be like, oh, I could really grow my meat that little bit more. But anyway, we've definitely come a long way. I think when I first started training, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of growing my glutes. I was doing a lot of squatting, a lot of hip thrusting. But it wasn't until I really dove into coaching with Jason and also educating myself in my coaching to become a coach myself that I really learned about the importance of training intensity is so overlooked. Like, we cannot be leaving our gains on the table. We need to be training as hard as we can. Food is so important as well. We cannot grow muscle if we're not fueling our bodies enough. And I would also say, in terms of the training, we need to be making sure that we're training our glutes in shorten, mid, and lengthen range, and we're training all of the muscles in our glutes. It's not just the glute max. We also have like the glute med that tends to get overlooked. So yeah, just really focusing on all those really fine details is going to give you the best results.
Yeah, incredible. And I can imagine you're doing quite a range of exercises to hit all of those parts of the
Yes,
glutes.
yeah.
What are some of your absolute favorite exercises for glutes?
Oh, if you asked me about a year ago, I would have said hip thrusts. I got up to like 200 kilos on a hip thrust and I was like, yeah, this is it. But like, now I'm just really loving movements that are new and movements that I really creating that mind muscle connection to my glutes. I've been loving all step up variations. I've been doing step ups on the Smith machine as of late. They are such a killer and also a game changer for the glute med. Um, I'm also just a sucker for RDLs. Such a classic, but the burn is just like no other. I love a good RDL.
Yes, me too. We were actually talking about the other day, like what exercise would we do for the rest of our life
Yeah,
if we could only do one? And I said
I
RDL.
know. It's just so good.
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned obviously training is super important with intensity and a range of exercises to hit different parts of your glutes and also eating. Is there anything else that you're doing to maximize growth?
Um, I think that would pretty much cover it. Just maintaining consistent, really making sure that we create that really hard training intensity as the baseline. We need to be hitting that every time. We're not just going to have one really good session and be like, oh, great, my glutes should grow from that. Now I can chill for the rest of the week. Like, it needs to be ongoing. You need to be chasing that pain in order to grow. So yeah, I've just been really training my heart out. I think my biggest fear, especially my last prep, I used to say it all the time, was I was so scared to get off stage and think, oh, I could have done more. And that would be the worst feeling in the world. So I just think about that every time I go into the gym, every time I'm making a meal, every time I want to break my diet. I just think, I'm going to remember this when I step off stage. So don't give yourself that to like crush you in the future. Just give it your all now and then you can't regret anything.
Yeah, I think that's a massive benefit of competing as well, is that you do have that big goal and that constant improvement that you can chase,
Mm,
and you can think of that when you're, going through a hard session and trying to get those last few reps to
exactly.
failure in the gym. So it is really a big benefit for any competitors out
Yeah,
there.
for sure. I agree.
Is there anything during your build phase that you really struggled with?
I think between my last show and this prep, I didn't go into a massive build phase. We didn't push my calories as high. Before my first show, my calories went up to 3,500. So I was eating so much. I was force feeding, to be so honest. It was more food than I've ever had. I remember before starting with Jason, I really did think that I had to be eating 1,100 calories if I didn't want to gain weight. And that just all got flipped on its head. So I think that a lot of my growth mentally came from my first build phase because it was also new. I think that I did struggle with my body image a little because I've always just been very small, very petite. So really pushing myself to like weights that I've never hit in my life was quite uncomfortable. But I made it a really big priority of mine when I started that process that I was going to be super open about that phase, because I always would see the girls that are competing, you see them shredded, you see the photo shoot photos and you're like, I want that, but you can't just have that. So I remember I did my first photo shoot in my peak build phase. It was the last week of my build. It was so uncomfortable. I remember like scrolling through the photos and being like, I really don't love this, but at the end of the day, it's necessary. I knew that it was only temporary and you have to go through that and that discomfort in order to bring something extraordinary. There's always going to be growth on the other side of discomfort. So just remembering that it is all transitory. No phase is going to last forever, but every phase is necessary is so important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. And I absolutely love how you do share all the phases on social media as well, because I think that's something that not enough people share. And people don't realize that you do actually have to, go into a big build phase and put on a little bit of body fat to make those big improvements.
Exactly, yeah.
So going back to your show last year, you placed second,
I
right?
did, yeah.
That's incredible. How did that feel?
Oh, like no other. I honestly have goosebumps just thinking about it. I was watching a video the other night of my little vlog from show day, and it was right after I finished the morning show and I got back to where we were staying in the apartment, and I would just, that was the first time that I felt so proud of myself. I felt like I was doing this for me and to like push myself. Obviously, we all want to win, but getting that second call out just was enough for me. Like that, I couldn't believe, like knowing that I was one of the youngest people up on that stage and it being my first show, I just couldn't believe how, how proud I was. I'd never felt so proud of myself and felt like I had achieved something that I never really thought that I could do until that moment. So yeah, when I got called out for second place, I was just absolutely over the moon. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't wait to do it all again, honestly. And like so many competitors, especially when you place like second, you're like, oh, I'm so close. I'm going to jump into the next show. So I was just like so ready to like keep building, keep fighting, and just come back even better.
Yeah, and for anyone who wasn't watching that show, like the lineup was absolutely insane. So coming second in your first ever show is such a big achievement and just a testament to your work ethic as well that you put in, obviously, during your build phase and your prep too. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
congrats again for that.
Yeah, it was honestly such an honor just to be on stage with all of those girls. I remember us all standing in the wings and I hadn't really looked around yet and I was like, oh God. I was like, everyone looks insane. Also, we were all wearing the same color bikini. We were all in
Yeah, I
blue
remember that.
bikinis. It was wild, but yeah, it was just incredible. Everyone was just looked insane.
Yeah, it was definitely the year of the blue bikini, wasn't
It
it?
was. I'm never doing blue again.
So what was your feedback from the judges for that show?
So my feedback was, I was very lucky. It was all super positive feedback. However, I got really stumped because there was no feedback of like, do this for your next show. It was all very like, great look, great glutes, pro potential, just a tough lineup. That was pretty much my feedback. So I think after the show, I was like, God, like, what do I do in order to get better from here when I haven't got that like written on paper for me? So yeah, I've just been navigating that. I've also been seeking like feedback from other people in the industry. I remember after the show, like I reached out to Tani and I was just like, hey, like she hasn't been my posing coach before. We have had a chat here and there, but I just said I would just love your feedback. And she was so generous with her feedback. She sent me a big message of what she thought I did really well, what I can improve on. So I think just reaching outside of your inner circle, whether it's to other coaches, other posing coaches, just other people in the industry, is so beneficial to have other people's eyes on it, because everyone's going to miss something that, like, everyone is going to miss something and everyone else is going to see something that you're missing. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, is actually getting feedback. Obviously, the judges can provide you feedback if you're in those top placings, but getting feedback from pros and coaches and things in the audience, because there's so many experts there watching who are outside of the judging panel, and obviously your own coach. And like you said, they've got such a valuable feedback and most people will be happy to give that. So I'm really glad you brought up that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And your coach should, if they really want for you to do well in the future, they will be so welcoming of feedback. Like, feedback is never going to be a negative thing or an attack at your coach or the work that you or your coach have done. Like, it's just in order to progress, and it's such a healthy and natural thing and so beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking back to your last prep and this prep that you've just started, is there anything that you have changed for this prep in your approach?
So as I said, before my last prep, my calories were stupid high, 3,500. This prep, they definitely did not go as high. I think we got up to about 2,800, but then we were kind of in like a mini cut body recomp phase for quite a while before we actually started prep. So going into prep itself, I started on about 2,200 calories. So that's already a huge jump from 3,500. So I guess my food has just been quite different. But I think I was also a little bit naive to think, oh, my prep this time will just be the same as last time. Like, no, our bodies adapt and they adjust and we start in different places. So, yeah, my nutrition is just a bit different. As in terms of my training and my cardio, it's pretty similar at the moment. But yeah, I'm adapting quite well. My body's really adapting to the changes. So it's all really exciting stuff. And I think when I initially got my nutrition to start prep, I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's my calories? Like, no. but but yeah, because my body is responding so quickly, I have a lot of faith that I'm not going to have to drop super ungodly low. Like, it'll all just work out. We're just monitoring it week to week. No point stressing about what you can't control or you don't know is going to happen anyway. So, yeah, just managing progress week to week and going from there.
Yeah, cool. I feel like that first calorie drop always hits you harder as well
It's so
in
rough.
prep,
You're
like it's
like,
always the
oh,
biggest.
twist the knife.
Yeah. Do you feel any pressure coming into the show after placing second last year?
I do. I think I'm lying if I say that I don't. I definitely do feel a bit of pressure, but to be honest, it's all coming from myself. I don't think that anyone is thinking, oh, you got second, so you better win this show. Like, no one thinks like that. So it's all just a mental game for myself. I think that in this sport, it's bodybuilding. We build and we get better and we grow and we improve. So I think that coming second is a really tricky spot because the next step is pro, and that's massive. That's huge. So, and at the end of the day, there's only one winner. So it's really hard to just not focus on that, I guess. But at the end of the day, I can see where I've started this prep compared to last show. I can see the improvements. I'm just going to come back better for myself. And if that doesn't result in winning a pro card, like, so be it. There's another show. Like, that doesn't mean I'm just going to stop competing. Like, I'll just come back better. So yeah, I do feel a bit of pressure, but again, it's more so just myself, not from external sources.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you keep your mental health like good and in check during prep?
I think that I'm super lucky because prep, I really thrive off routine. So prep is so to the T in everything that you do. So I find it really soothing for my brain, my ADHD brain, to like know like what I have to do when I have to do it. So I feel pretty good in that way. My mental health does come in waves. I have like struggled with my mental health for a lot of years now. But I think when it does spike up and I am struggling a bit, I just have the faith and the knowledge to know that it will as well pass. Like it always will pass. These things just come in waves. So I just make sure that I'm taking time for myself, whether that's just getting my steps in, going for a walk, not taking my headphones with me. And I just like to listen and feel connected to the world. That makes me like, it brings my feet back down onto the ground. I'm really thinking where my feet are, not elsewhere. So yeah, that's probably what I would say. And also just, of course, surrounding yourself with people that you love and people that also don't tie your identity to prep. I think that that's a lot of things. A lot of people get caught up in that. Like they finish a show and they say, oh, well, like, what do I have now? Like, who am I? So making sure that we have a circle of people that don't just associate us with our sport is just so, like, it's so important.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree with that more. And thinking long term in this sport, do you have any long term goals?
I would love a crown, wouldn't we all? So yeah, I think that would be my long-term goal. I would love to do a international show as well. But yeah, I haven't like planned this or anything. It's just something that I would like to do. But yeah, I think a crown would definitely be the dream for me.
Yeah, amazing. And I love that you have goals and like progression
Mm,
past the pro card as well, because, some people's goal is to just go pro and then that's it. So it'll be cool to see you obviously get that pro card when you get it one day and move through the sport and go for that crown. So
thank you.
kind of excited to watch your journey over the years.
Thank you.
Have you ever struggled with comparison to other competitors?
Absolutely. I think that bodybuilding is so unique of a thing. Like when I even say it out loud, like, yeah, I'm going to dedicate years of my life to eat little food, train super hard, and then I'm going to go on stage and stand next to a bunch of different girls and they're going to choose who they like the best. Like that sounds mind boggling. Like, no way is that a real thing. But it's what we do. And it's also, it is so much more than that. And that's why we do it. But yes, of course, the comparison does play a role. This is a game of comparison. I think that a big thing for me, like I said before, was just how I never want to leave anything on the table. I want to make sure I'm doing everything my best, because if I get on stage knowing that I did my best, then what more can you do? If you don't win, you don't win. You gave it everything that you had, and that's just it. So I think that I think that you can't control what other people are doing. You can't control how good someone else looks, how big someone's glutes are. Like, you can only control yours. So just do the best that you can do, and you will grow and you will progress and you will be rewarded when you're meant to be.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. What's the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome during this whole journey?
Oh, I think just feeling like I wasn't good enough to do it. And um, I think when I got on stage last time before my show, I was like, why am I even doing this? There's no point. Like, I'm 19 years old. These girls have so many years on me. I can't do a spin in heels. I cannot squat as much as this girl can. Like, what makes me think that I can get on stage and stand alongside these people? So that has been a big thing. I think that after my last show, and I did play so well, that has really flicked a switch in my brain that I can do just as well. Like, it's not, at the end of the day, the judges don't know what your squat is, what your RDL is, the circumference of your glutes. Like, it's not about all the data, it's about the package that you bring on the day. So yeah, just making sure that I'm bringing a package that is the best of my ability, then I absolutely deserve to be there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's something really cool about this podcast as well, is sharing like those early journeys from competitors who have done well, because new competitors who haven't competed don't realize that, you know, everyone starts from the same place basically, or everyone has different journeys. And most people don't go onto it just confident like how
No.
they look on stage. So I really love for people to hear that and realize that they're not alone in feeling, you know, scared or like not feeling like they're good enough to compete,
Yeah.
because you do just build that confidence and I suppose like trust in yourself
Mm.
from doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember before my show, I would look at the girls that came second. I remember Kira, who just turned pro in fitness. Bless her, she deserved that. But I remember the show before mine, she got second place. I remember I looked at her and I was just like, oh my God, like you got second in your show? Like that is insane. And then to think that like I'm up there, I got second in my show as well. Like it never sinks in. And I think that if I am, fingers crossed, to turn pro at some point, I think that it'll be the exact same thing. I don't know if that will ever sink in. Like, it's just me. Like, I'm just me.
Yeah, exactly. What advice would you give to someone who has competed once and they're looking to make improvements for their next show?
I think, like we touched on before, feedback is really important from a lot of external sources. I think also be your own judge. Have a look at your photos and just, if you've been in a prep before, then you know exactly what you want for your physique. You know what you want for the category. Do you need to grow your shoulders? Do you need to grow your glutes, your quads? You can make those decisions as well. It's like a two-way road with your coach. So yeah, having that input as well is super important. And also just staying dedicated. Remember why you want to compete. Remember your why, and you will always just strive to be better and to do better every day.
Yeah, amazing. And what's something you wish you knew before your first prep?
Oh, that is such a good question. I think that it's not wrong to not struggle. Like, I don't know. I feel like I was having so much fun and I was just in love with the journey, and so many people around me were just, oh, like, I can't be bothered to train. Like, I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. And I was like, well, I'm so excited. Like, I'm loving this. So then I felt like I wasn't doing enough because I didn't feel so low. And it was like, that's not the case at all. Like, if you're ticking the boxes, you're ticking the boxes. Like, if you feel great in prep, good for you. Like, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. So I think that I thought that for a long while. But yeah, I think it just more so came down from my love for the sport and how excited I was about every phase of the journey. And yes, I was tired and yes, I was hungry, but it wasn't enough to make me fully dislike what I was doing. Like, it was my decision at the end of the day. I chose this. I chose to be hungry and I chose to be tired. So there's no point of me complaining about it. Like, I'm just excited because I'm doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I actually felt the same during my first prep as well, because I'd seen all these people going through prep. Like I was watching YouTube videos and
Mm.
competitor stories and stuff before my first prep, and it seemed like everyone was struggling so much. And then like I was finding it kind of easy to
Yeah.
start with. Obviously, you have your hard days, but like I was ticking all the boxes, doing everything my coach said. But I think it just comes down to, like you said, the love for the sport, but also the work you put in
Mm-hmm.
during your off season and before you start prep. Because if you're already kind of living that lifestyle, you know, aside from the calorie deficit, it's not going to be that hard to
No.
transition into prep and just, you know, add a little bit of cardio and increase steps a little bit and drop food a little bit, do a bit more posing. It's not that different to, you know, your everyday lifestyle. If you're living and breathing that already, it will make prep so much easier. And I think like you obviously just have a really positive attitude about things as well, and you're able to see the positive side of it and the joy that you get from prep, which is really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't enjoy it, then why would you do it? Like, if you didn't like the process of doing prep, you would be miserable, absolutely miserable. There'd be no point at all. So there's no point of putting yourself through it if it's not what's for you. There's no harm in it not being for you. You can still be in the fitness industry and love to train without having to compete. I think that competing has gotten so much more popular lately. I swear everyone's competing, and that's incredible if that's what people want to do. But I just don't never want people to feel like that's what's expected of them, that they should compete as the next step in their progress, because it's not for everyone. It is an extreme sport, and yeah, there's no point if you don't love it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. So, for those of you who want to follow your journey and your progress to the show and also learn more about your coaching, where can they find you?
So my Instagram is Mia Kukura. I am a online and in-person coach, coached by Mia. And if you are in the Sydney area and would love to join my in-person team, I'm coaching at Elite Health Club in Willoughby. So yeah.
Amazing. And it sounds like there's lots of competitors who go to Elite Health Club as well, which looks like a cool
Yeah,
community.
we have such an incredible community. Like all of our like posing workshops we do in prep, usually we have like a weekly posing workshop with all the elite girls. Like it's just a community like second to none. It really does feel like home, and all of the coaches are there to support everyone's clients. It's not like you go to elite and you have one coach. Like everyone is there to support. It's so collaborative, which is why I love it so much, and I'm really blessed to be a part of that.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I cannot wait to see you on the Gold
Thank you
Coast.
so much. I cannot wait to see you. I'll see you on Night.
Yes, and thank you to all of our listeners as well. If you could take a minute to follow, rate, and share this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to, tag us in your stories. Let us know what you're doing while you're listening to this. If you're doing prep, if you're on the Stairmaster, let us know. We love to see it, and we'll be so grateful because it really does help us more than you know, and it helps us continue to get more incredible guests on like Mia.
Thank you so much for having me.